Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Well, back for another video on the cabbie. Yeah, right. As you can see, we've put the heritage repair panel in. We've got some grinding up and that to do, just finishing off there. Again, we won't grind it fully flat until we get some flap discs. Obviously the nightmare in there is going to be grinding the backside, so we'll have to use a finger file in there and just be patient. You can see we've sat the boot lid in place, but the hinges were damaged, so I've just ordered some more hinges. Then we can make sure we're 100% there with the boot, but I'm confident we're there with the boot. It's all looking the same as it did. There's a little bit of damage to the boot. A few watcher vids might have noticed that we've bodged another contraption here. So you may have remembered before we were coming out this boot area to put our frame on. Well, obviously I couldn't put the boot on. I did make a jig for welding the panel on, but I was a bit nervous, as you would be, that it wouldn't fit, and I didn't really want to seam weld it all up and then grind it back and dress it and get to the point where I put the boot on to find that the boot doesn't fit. So I've changed the bracketry, just bodged this bit on here so we can support the vehicle there instead of coming through the boot. And I could put the boot in place, make sure everything lines up right, and we're all happy. But in doing that, as you can see, the car's got a bit of a rake on it, so along with finishing that rear panel off, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to also get this tube in, cut this one off here. It's welded on a right dog's leg anyway. Then we'll put this into there and it'll drop the car down just a couple of inches. It won't bring it 100% in line with the back, but it will even it out just a touch. Right guys, I'll plod on for a bit. I've got a few more bits done, and I'll show you where we are. Speak in a minute. Hi everyone, so yeah, we're back. We've just done them daft couple of bits. We've got, like you can see, we've changed out the front, sat on it. It's just levelled it out a little bit. It's not totally level, but it's taken a bit of strain off the bodgy bracket on the back. We've been doing a bit of grinding on the boat, finishing the welds up. Boat's all fitting lovely. Next thing we're going for is this floor. But we've got if I want to do that, I'm going to cut the remainder of the old floor out. I'm going to cut it straight through the toe board. And it just gives us a bit of a reference for the floor. It's not a wholly reliable reference, but I can get it up, get it clamped into place using that as my reference, and then I can start taking some measurements and then start jiggling it about. It should get us somewhere pretty close, hopefully. All the pressings are pretty much the same, so hopefully that'll bring us close enough to not have too much adjustment to do, and then we'll be getting the floor fitted. But yeah, for now that's it guys. Like I say, we'll just change that bracket on the front. That's going to have to come off at some point. Obviously it's a bit tricky trying to do a spit with a Cabriolet. Just, you know, where do you put it? And we've already lost our roll centre a bit on the back end, but again I had no choice. The boot may be scrapped, but I don't know. I haven't had a good look at it yet, and I don't want to start chopping holes in the boot so we can have a bar going through just for the spit. But yeah, we needed to make sure that boot aperture was right. And as you can see, we've had the boot lid on now, and that all seems alright. All the gaps are great. Try it again with hinges on, just to make it doubly sure, but I can't see any problem why not. We've got some hinges on order. Other things we've got on order, we were hoping to get for this weekend, is the new toe board, but we're going to go for the floor without fitting the toe board. It's not a problem. The inner wings are coming out anyway, so we can get the floor in, we can get the floor tacked into place along the sill lines. Then when the toe board comes, we'll be putting the front subframe in to fit the toe board up. So obviously we'll be just bolting it up on the tower mounts. so we can come down and just catch the mountains, so we know where the mountains are. There's a couple of bolts I also want to keep, so I'm not sure that they come with a tow board, which secure the fuel pipe protector plate, which goes under your tow board, round near the steering rack, and runs underneath the car with the fuel lines, which is also something we need to put onto the floor, is the little weld 2 screws which go on the floor to secure the fuel line brackets too. Anyway, we've got our bodgy bracket done at the back, we've got our boot sorted out. We've had that panel kicking about in the shed for absolutely years now, absolutely years, but it's finally on the car. Yeah, the boot's looking lovely, it's all lined up. Happy with how it's going. We may have a few little change of plans, we'll see how that goes on a few bits and pieces. Just, yeah, well, we'll see. As you know, it's a big, long drawn out process, but we are getting to the bits where obviously when the floor goes in, that's a big chunk in, road is closing, panels are going, and we've got the back arches to do, we've got a full boot floor to go in. These things should fall in pretty quickly really. The inner wings will be a bit of a juggle, as will be the scuttle panel. Once we get them, and everything else should just hopefully fall into place. Then we get this thing into paint. I at least want to get it into primer before the racing season starts, you know, so it's not going to deteriorate any while we're waiting to get back on with it. Right, with that guys, I'm going to call it a video. In our next video we will be putting that floor in, and happy days, we've got a floor again, man. Fingers crossed and all that. Anyway, see you guys later, take it easy. Bye.